I wanted to start by asking you, Daniel, how you came to this topic and to describe your, multi-year journey of reporting on the alt-right, and then also how you settled on these three characters who are all quite interesting and controversial, but quite different as well from each other.
I was actually one of the first reporters in the country to cover the alt-right. I started covering the movement in, I believe, June of 2016. So it was about 6 months before Trump won the presidency and maybe 8 months before he took office. I was a few years out of school. I was already working as a reporter at The Atlantic, and I saw white nationalism and conspiracy bubbling up online on college campuses where I had just left, and even in the rhetoric of the Republican Party. All of these things seem completely normal now, but if you're able to go back to 2016, when Trump just started running, it was completely outside what was possible and normal in American political discourse. So for me, we just started with kind of a question of, who are these people? What do they believe and what are their motivations? It began with a short documentary profile of Richard Spencer. And some people might remember, it's actually in the film. I was the documentarian who caught the excerpt of a room full of people breaking out into Nazi salutes. It was sort of this crazy, iconic moment. I didn't expect it. It went viral and really broke news at the time because it showed what the alt-right was about, that it was fundamentally a white nationalist movement. When we did the development phase of the documentary Beyond the Short, I spent time with probably 15 people, 20 people. I've interviewed at this point probably a few hundred people on the right. We decided on those three because we didn't want to give a platform to someone who doesn't already have a platform. It was important for us to find those who were extremely effective extremists. I don't mean that as a value judgment, but they have influence. They have, audiences in the hundreds of thousands or millions. Cernovich has the ear of people in the White House. Lauren definitely has the ear of people in government in Europe. So I think the first point was just that they already have this tremendous amount of influence, and I wanted to understand and get to the core of it. And the other is that they're complex. I think Richard is a little bit more straightforward. If you watch the film, his motivations are a little bit more straightforward. He really, he's that hardcore and he's an ideologue and that's what he believes. Mike and Lauren have a lot of contradiction. And as a storyteller, I found that, endlessly interesting and worth exploring.